All right. All right, guys, we just got out of the Wednesday night session and fucking Ben dropped the gauntlet. Um, it put up the challenge. Hey, 6 months. If you want a 6 month mentorship, it is here for the taking. Fucking playtime is over. Summer is over. I don't know if you know this, but historically, summers in trading in crypto are kind of a little bit. I remember last summer was fucking brutal. But yeah, playtime's over. Uh, let's work. Let's work. I was telling Ben, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're watching this and you were on that Wednesday meeting tonight and you were like, yeah, I'm in, don't treat this like a New Year's resolution. Be all in. Set realistic goals because we've been talking about it, and you will be accountable, not to me, not to Ben, not to Eddie. You will be accountable to what the fuck you said. And you said you want this. Hell, I said I wanted this, but I don't always act like I want this. So it's time to match up acts and thoughts with actions. Everyone wants to talk about, and maybe some of you guys are saying, oh, I don't have enough money to. I'm telling you, if you get that win rate up and you are a successful, profitable trader, the money will come. Shit, people will back you. So yeah, playtime is over. Let's all develop a system. Let's all be accountable to that system. Let's all make tweaks and changes and look at it from a long view perspective, right? The short-term gains and short-term goals, yeah, it's cool, but this is a long view thing, right? And having Ben, who's willing to mentor and really take the reins, is a fucking huge blessing. I mean, this dude, I've watched this dude make millions, and I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes I won't listen to him, right? And you know what? That's frustrating to him. He'd be like, I hate watching you sit around here and fuck it up. I'll tell you what to do, and it's so simple. And then I get these bright ideas, or I think I cracked the code, or I introduce a new thing. And a lot of the times when Ben has been mentoring me, he had to ask me, dude, you're just doing too much, you know? So that's all I have to say about that, guys. Let's lock in, right? Let's do this. Let's get to work. Let's start trading with some money that hurts, but let's do it in a responsible way. And let's just be accountable, right? Yesterday is fucking done. That person doesn't exist. If that person pops up, you're going to tell your team, and we're going to make each other accountable. If you guys want to send me anything, if you guys want to send me your PNL, just, sometimes just admitting it, right? It's like sometimes just admitting that you've been hiding is very powerful. All right, guys, let's do our process here. Nightly Bitcoin review for a high time frame perspective. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the context. What is the context of the market? What does context mean? Context means is what are we doing? What are we trading away from? What are we doing? And as you can see here, if we're on the 4 hour, we got a nice impulse, correction, impulse. And now, in my opinion, we are in some kind of bigger correction, right? We come here, tapped all-time highs, dug a little deep. Is this a sufficient low to make another all-time high? I don't know. Hopefully that's what we're going to figure out. But on the way there, we want to find those smaller pivots. So we're going to start off with the monthly perspective, and we're going to do some horizontals, right? I can see right here that we just broke through this horizontal monthly resistance right here. So right like this, bam. So I want to come back here and I want to see that if we did break through this, did we come down and retest? And what was that retest like? Did we see some buying there? So I'm going to come here to the 30-minute, 15-minute, good enough. So as you can see here, we're just kind of meandering around a bit, right? Right at that monthly resistance, we're just kind of going sideways. Now, if we want to see what the acceptance or lack of it is, we can pull a fixed range volume right at that line, at that consolidation. And we can see that we are building up a point of control right at that line. So the more that we trade above that point of control and that monthly resistance, that is the more we are creating support, right? If we lose that support, that means that we are going to go down, because if we create support and then lose it, now we have to get through resistance, right? So this is either going to be a nice low or a failed auction, right? Both of these are entry triggers. And look at that. Oh no, that's Nader. Nader, I'll call you back. All right, yeah. So that's what we're doing here, guys. We're reviewing context. So I'm going to bring in my high time frame levels, see what we got. Okay, so I see here we're consolidating right below a daily. Going to go here to the daily and see if we got any new levels to mark out. No, nothing. Nothing new, right? We had some daily resistance here, tapped it. Saw a nice pullback. I actually, on my last nightly review, I actually took that trade. I posted it in my little section or whatever. It was a successful short. In the end, I didn't take the long. And then today was FOMC, so I didn't trade it. Okay, so yeah, daily here. Next daily is here, right? Daily, daily, daily. Can't close a candle above that. That is daily resistance. Got some weekly resistance up here. But you take a look at that. Weekly, right there. Weekly, weekly, right? And we had some weekly resistance here, but that nice wick right there, pretty much we can say closed out anybody who was stuck in the wick there. All righty then. There's our high time frame levels. Now we're going to get into some MPOCs. Let's see here. Let's go for the daily. I was able to change this up so you can see this a little bit better, right? So hopefully you can see those numbers now. Okay, so we've got a daily MPOC right here, right above us. That is at 16,725. 16,725, got it. And above that, we've got 117,675. 117,675. I got it right there. And down to the low side, we have a naked point of control right there at 114,275. 114,275. Okay, that's it for the dailies. Just going to kind of get rid of that. And now let's go on to weekly. Let me move this over a little bit for you right here. Oops. Come on. Come on, grab it, little fucker. There you go. There you go. All right, so we've got weekly MPOC at 113,970. 113,970 right there. And we've got a weekly MPOC above us at 118,830. 118,830. So I have some other MPOCs up here, up top, but we're not really going to focus on that, right? Okay, so that is all my, actually, let's go look at the monthly. And we see that the nearest monthly naked point of control is down here at 84,500. So, guys, what are we looking at when we're looking at these charts, right? We are looking at volume, right? So you have time and you have volume, right? Just so you know, right? That's what we're looking at. This is time. This is volume. This is how volume has progressed through the course of time. When you get a little visual here, you can start to see where it starts to thin out, right? You can see where you have, these little colorizations here are basically support and resistance. Like right up here, what is that? That is right 118,850. That is last month's resistance, and right around there, the previous month before that, that was the point of control. So just judging by volume and where past traders were that might still be in the market, because remember that the market has a memory. All right, so we're going to get rid of this window and that. And now we're going to look at some volume. For that, I'm going to come into a little bit of a smaller time frame. And I'm going to do some fixed range pulls. So typically, right, we've got this upswing since 74,000, right? So if I just want to look at where's our biggest support, right? If we're taking a wide view, right, we hit that critical support there at 107,000. We've had a nice bump since then, right? And then now, if we want to drag a little bit all the way from the bottom, see where we're building up. Okay, so nice. So now our point of control is above us. So that's very interesting, because I am going to pull a fixed range pull at this total consolidation here. And we still have the point of control right there. Now that's very interesting to me. The reason why that's very interesting, and guys, look, I'm going to tell you this. If we can get above this point of control, like judging by what look at this. Just look at the facts, right? We trade the data. All of this price action, all of this history, all of this volume, the point of control is above us. If we can get above that and continue with some bullish market structure and some nice CVD that's going upwards, like people are buying, right? People are interested in buying, then there's no fucking reason why we shouldn't be making all-time highs. But until then, anything high volume that is above us is what? It is resistance. So another big thing about that level that I want to say is that is also, if I take a pull from here to the bottom, that is also a golden pocket. So that's 3 layers of confluence, right? Entire range pull point of control right there at 18,000, right at about 18,004, 18,001, 18,400, right? Range POC, entire price action POC, golden pocket, right? And now we want to start stacking up our confluences so we can find the best next trade. So let's introduce our high time frame levels. Bam. Okay. See here, I got some scattered stuff, right? So I'm going to take this Fibonacci out. So my main concern is, right, being back in the range, right? We're making our way up to the point of control. I'm going to introduce these high time frame levels. Boom. Nothing's really stacking up right on that point of control. I'm going to introduce these naked levels. Boom. I am seeing a little bit of squeezing around the neighborhood of that. Okay. And that is... So for me, right now, when it comes to the next areas that I'm looking to trade, I'm looking to trade down here and down here, right? These naked points of control at the value area low. Because one thing that I noticed that we never really did do is when we came back in, we never had a nice solid retest of this value area low. Typically, we always get that, right? We don't need it. It's not a requirement. But for me, just visually, it works out better, right? We start to see this up and then down and then up and then down and then up and then sideways, right? We're building something up, right? This is where you want to start to pay attention to your CVD divergences. And this is only for a swing trade type of thing. When you guys are in the mornings, you should be directly listening to Ben, right? For the next 6 months, you should be listening to him, not thinking that you fucking know. Treat it like you're a newborn baby. So, anyways, that's where I'm looking for a long. And to be honest with you, I'm looking for a short kind of anywhere in here. I'm not really too crazy on the short, but I want to be in a short um, because if we do hit that resistance, right, then we might just be continuing on a greater trend, right? We might make our way down to this value area low. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying that it could happen. We could just come back, retest this monthly, and keep on going. Right now, we just had the Fed rates cut, which is super bullish. But a lot of times you never know. What do they say? They say Bitcoin is the most bullish, bearish asset in the world. It can be painful. It'll hurt you. It'll hurt you if you're not careful. So always pay yourself. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. I'm looking for longs around that area. My long area is real simple because I have a clear indication of where I want to pick it up. And this is for a swing long. If I anchor a VWAP right there at the bottom, I can see here that that anchored VWAP is making its way right up to that area. If we came up here, bam, and then came on down, look at this. Sweep these lows, trade through all this volume, low time frame market structure change. I would definitely be looking for an SFP here. If I saw a nice wick that came back real fast and closed above either this anchored VWAP or any of these levels, all I need is a wick, and I'm going in on a trade. For here, when we have scattered resistance, what tends to happen is we tend to just kind of bam, 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 right? So I'll be looking for exhaustion. So what does that look like? So I want to give you a little bit of an entry trigger that is one of my favorites. I love this tool right here, this Perp Whale CVD. I mean, it just is so fucking reliable. One thing that I wanted to show you was this. I thought this was very interesting. I went on the monthly and looking at Bitcoin on a monthly chart, look how the whales all the way up have been distributing. Isn't that very interesting? I mean, we're talking 3.46 billion at the low, right? And then here at current price action, it's negative 67 billion. Very interesting. I don't know how I just did that, but yeah, I don't know how I just did that, but that's pretty cool. You can see how it intersects. All right. Yeah. Anyways, let me see if I can get that back up there. Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah. So let's look at the whales on the daily. Okay. Yeah. On the daily, the whales are accumulating a little bit, right? See high, higher low, low, higher low. Let's go to the 4 hour and just see how it's going. One of the questions you always got to ask yourself is, right, where's price trying to go and how good of a job is it doing getting there? We always want to look at the whale CVD for that. We want to know what is the bigger trader doing. All right, so I'm going to get a kind of a zoomed in look here on the lows and the highs, right? This is my delta. This is my CVD. I got a low. I got a low. I got a higher low, higher low. I got a higher low and what looks like a lower low. So we are seeing some bullish CVD divergences, right? Because a lot of people might say, Brian, but that's bearish. No, that is bullish. When and here's the proof right here. You see here that these whales are slowly just accumulating. And then when you look at CVD, you can see that at the lows, the heavy aggressive is selling into the lows, but price is going up. You see open interest going up. And when it does go up, it is right there. That was shorts coming down. Open interest was increasing, but those were all new longs coming in. You see open interest increase with a bunch of longs coming in. And then what happened at the low? What happened at the low is you saw an open interest decrease with negative delta, showing that there was some trap traders down here, and then boom. So the whales have really just been playing games, right? This is whale games right here, right? When you have the aggressive selling that's selling off, but price is going up, that means somebody's sitting there with limit orders, making the price go up. This is absorption. All right, guys. Yeah. So that's where I'm looking. That's what I'm looking for, and that's where I'm looking for it. Just some areas, some key levels that I'm looking at: 117,675, 118,830, and the range point of control, which is right at 118,200. So right at 118,200, I have an alert set. And I'll just be watching for. Watch for reversal pattern. And down here, I got a much more precise entry, value area low, liquidity sweep of all these lows. That would just be a super, right? Who knows? Maybe we come on up here, we hit that resistance, we come down here, we tap that support, and then we make another run for it. Could be, right? Another thing to look out for is the fact that we are kind of just actually, when you think about like a nice harmonic pattern, right? Because if we take this low and we pull it to the high, we saw that we bounced right in what? A golden pocket. Right in a golden pocket. And then after we hit that high and we came down low, now we're retracing and we are headed right for what? A golden pocket. And that golden pocket has a shitload of resistance. So this is your typical harmonic, what do they call it? A harmonic pattern. Bam, 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 bam. Right? An internal harmonic would be this. This would be a bullish harmonic. Right? I don't know. Is that? Yeah. I don't know how that ends, but just something to look out for. I will be looking at this 118 range. And yeah, I'm not taking a long till we dip a little bit lower, at least a swing long or buying some spot. And if we get over that point of control, I'll be looking for new all-time highs. If Bitcoin does get over that range point of control, probably have a good day of alts. Let's look at some alts. Alts on the day, green. What more do you need to know, right? Let's look at some news this week. Let's look at the calendar. So tomorrow's going to be Thursday. We've got unemployment claims, right? I don't know if good news is bad news is good news. But so tomorrow, unemployment right at market open. Beautiful. So unemployment claims right at market open. That means we might have a saucy day. How am I going to play that? All right. So the first hour of trading is your initial balance. When you are paying attention to your initial balance, you get an idea of how the rest of the day is going to go. I'm going to tell you my favorite daily open types. So if we come in here and we're looking at the 30-minute, all right? And let's say we had a previous day value area low here, previous day value area high here, right? And we open inside of value, right? I'll be looking at when that bell rings, did we just open and drive? Did we open and take off, right? Another thing is that when you open outside of value, usually we would expect continuation unless we are coming to a key level, right? Once we get sucked into previous day value, usually we can expect the full rotation. That's what they call the 80% trade, right? Other than that, sometimes, I'm sure you've seen it, we get this open, test, reverse. Like we open near some key level, we come on up, we smash it, and then we rip the other way. Usually these all happen in the first 26 minutes of trading. I think that's the current statistics. The first 26 minutes of trading, the volume will present what type of day it's going to be. Anyways, that's about it, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Looking forward to the next 6 months. I feel really blessed to be here with you guys. Let's keep each other accountable. Let's start making some fucking money. Let's start fucking changing our lives. How you do anything is how you do everything. So for the next 6 months, I don't even want you half-assing the dishes. I want you going all out, all in, all day, everything you got.